And there we are. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is actually put our single crochet edge on this side. Okay, so you can do it a couple ways because look, we don't have one on this side. So you can do it a couple ways. For this, you can take your last stitch, do a corner, and then slip stitch all the way to this line, or you can, it's all the way to here, so you slip stitch all the way to here, or you can just bind this off, cut it, start a new line down here, which I think that's what I'm going to do for these. I'll go to the other side. So, okay, this has white, and down here I started with blue. Pull that through there. Not a slip stitch, a slip knot. I'm sorry. I have my slip knot. I'm just going to go through, and I'm not even bother with this tail until later, because when we go around, we're going to work it in anyway. So I'm going to stick it in this first stitch, like that. Excuse me. Put that on there. Pull it through like you normally would. Well, oops. Pull it through like you normally would on any stitch. Chain one. Pull that down, pull this down. Okay. Then start again. Single crochet, single crochet. Okay. This is what we have now. You have your crohook section, you have your single crochet sections, and you'll notice they are a lot thinner. They're thinner on the crochet. You want to decide what color you want to use for your border. Okay, so now you've basically finished your single crochet. Now I've gone ahead and put my border on, but I'm going to show you how to go ahead and start your corners when you get to the edge. So once you've finished your single crochet, you're going to tie that off, bind that off at the end, and then you're going to start. So we would start right here. You're just going to do like you normally would. Do a slip knot with the color that you're going to put around as your border. Now clearly previously I used white, so I'm just going to show you how to do that again, but with this blue color so you can actually see it. I'm still using my double-ended crochet hook. So this is how you're going to start your border. So on your last row of single crochet, which would be there, you're going to go into this corner that you have created on your last row. Stick your crochet hook through there. Slip on your slip knot. Pull it through the corner. Chain one. Chain two. I'm just going to put that in there. Pull down as needed. Okay. Then you're going to do another single crochet into the same space. So single crochet. Okay. So then you have two. Then you're going to chain one and do a single crochet right back into that same space. So you have two, a chain, and then another single crochet. Then you single crochet all the way across in the chain like you would before. Two, oops, sorry about that. One, all the way till you get to the other end. And then you're going to do the same thing in the next corners and all the corners around. Okay, so single crochet all the way to the end of your line. Okay. Then I'm going to just jump over here to show you what to do again. When you get to the last stitch, all you have to do is single crochet in there, do another single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and it gives you that little corner. And you're going to do the same thing all the way around till you get to your 3rd corner and your 4th corner, and that's how you do your corners. So just do 2 there, chain 1, then another single crochet. Okay, and that's what I would just keep doing around. When you get to the next row, I'm going to pretend I'm done. So pretend I've gone all the way around. I'm back to my corner again. You're just going to go and stick your hook right in there, in that space from the first row, and do chain, put that in there, do a single crochet, do another single crochet right in there, chain 1, single crochet, and you keep on going around. And you do that as many times as you need to make your border fit your book. So, and I kind of like that other extra edging, so I might just go ahead and keep going around. Or not. I don't know. So, at the moment, there's my cover. Alright. And here's where my single crochets start. So that would be the inside cover. So you want to kind of set it up, see what it looks like, stretch it on around. And see, I have a little bit extra, so I might go ahead and do that extra blue row around. Okay? So next part of our tutorial will be how to put the pockets down, or the side flaps, so that we have these side flaps sewn together so it will fit your book. See you in a few minutes. Okay, as you see, I went ahead and did the blue border all the way around because I actually liked the way it looked. So it's an experiment. You have to check to see what you like. I'm at my last few stitches, so I'm going to show you how to finish it off. And you do as many rounds as you need or like. So I'm going to single crochet all these to the end. Here's my last empty single crochet. And then I'm just going to take this and stick it in the top of one of these stitches. Pull up a loop. Excuse me. Pull up a loop and slip stitch it. Okay. Take my hook out. And excuse me. Now that I have my loop up here, you can go ahead and fasten it off. So I'm going to cut that, pull this through, and tighten it down. And then you have your entire book cover. And as you see, it's reversible. So on this side I have mostly blue. If I turn it over, on this side it's mostly white. And it's just so pretty. I like it. And the advantage of using a crow hook is that you don't have in these extra loops that you have to weave in at the end. And it also makes it cushiony. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like kind of cushiony versus the single crochet that's not as spongy. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is close up our book. So if you... Okay. So the next thing we have to do is check. You always want to check your book again. Make sure it's the way you want it. Here's where my single crochet starts. I'm just going to pull this up over the edge of my book so you can see where you want your stitching to start. Here's where my single crochet is. Starts on that line right there. So that's where I want to keep it shut. And because I did so many extra rows, I'm farther in on the cover, and it doesn't matter. It's just up to you how you want. So I just fold that over like that. And I've checked it so I can remove it. You need to get out your darning needle. And we're going to basically just sew the edges together. Just going to sew the edges together. So you want to take a piece of yarn. I like extra long yarn because I don't like adding if I get in the middle. So I'm going to take my piece of yarn. I'm just going to run it through my big-eyed needle here. Get it in there. And I'm not going to double it. I'm just going to put it like that. I'm going to, now if you want to, you can take one of your stitch markers and make sure you have everything lined up so it's even on both sides. And I don't worry about counting the rows. What I do is just look to make sure that this line is straight. And if you want to, you can just kind of put a stitch marker. They're sort of like a pin to hold it. I can get my stitch marker in. So you can just kind of put it through both sides like a pin to kind of hold it. And then take another stitch marker and do the other side. And you may have a little ruffling. Doesn't matter as long as it fits your book and you're good. So I'm going to stick this other thing here in the bottom. Pick up my needle, put my thread on it. Let me check something real quick. Let me zoom this out for you. Oops, not in. Let me zoom out for you for a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm going to start on this corner. And I'm just going to take my needle, stick it through there. So I've gone kind of through the front into this piece. And I'm going to pull that in. And basically, I don't know if you call it a whip stitch or I don't know what kind of stitch you call it. I guess it's a whip stitch. So I'm going to go through here. I've got that. Then I'm going to go back through one of these loops. So hopefully you can see that. Pull my yarn through. And then pull it back through where I started. And that will kind of knot your yarn for you. So you don't have to worry about that other piece falling out. Pull it tight, see? And then I can remove my stitch marker again. So there's the tail, and I'm just going to leave it decent size. There's my tail. I'm going to come back through where I just went, but go through half the stitch, then come on this side and go through those stitches. So I'm going through the V's. If you can see, here's the V's on top of the stitch. I'm going through those on both sides. So I come back over here and I go through the V's. And if you notice, my needle's kind of diagonal because I'm ahead one up here and I'm kind of going back. I find that that's just easier for me, I guess. So I'll pull that. And then I go under this set of V's here. And then you have that set. And it'll look so that it's all together. Alright, now here I am at the end, and there's that side stitched together. Okay, now I am a lazy crafter. I hate adding yarn. So we have a yarn up here, but we need to get all the way down here. So all I'm going to do is turn this around, and because it's going to be on the crease of the book anyway, you're not even going to notice. So I'm just going to kind of take this open, because you want to make sure you don't sew it to sew the bottom part shut. I'm just going to kind of go like this and work my way through these stitches like that. So I different. So then here we come out this side piece right there that we need. Pull it. And make sure you don't pull your yarn too hard. If you pull your yarn too hard when you're doing that, you'll gather your book. Not pretty. So stretch that right on back out there. So you don't want to do that, because that's just not kosher. You'll have some kind of weird thing. And if you notice, like, depending on how you fold it, like if you folded it like that and put this up here or something like that, you can make a little bag out of your crow hook piece. Okay, so if your piece was shorter, see, hey, there you go, you got a little bag. Okay, so now I'm back over here where I need to go. I'm going to come back through and do the same thing I did on that side. Go under the V's. Or like I said, if you like to do the overstitch, you can do the overstitch. I like this because I want to see that line. So there you go. And you just keep on going. And like I said, I'm usually back one stitch. So after you do this side, you do the same thing to the other side, and then you do your embellishments. You make sure you check it to make sure it fits your book, and other than that, that is what you do. And this would then be your crow hooked reversible book cover. Oh, I just did that little line again. Oh well, there's one on one side, so now there's one on this side. Even. Even Steven. So there you go. I'm just going to finish this side up and then go to the other side and then show you what it's like at the end. Okay, so like with any project, oh, sorry about that, hit the camera. Like with any project, you want to go ahead and weave in all your ends, and then you have your finished piece. So here's my crow hooked book. If you want, like, because this actually adds a little height, if you wanted, you could go ahead and probably do a row of slip stitches to even out the length if you want. I don't really think it really matters. If you decide to do a small section of crow hooking like I did on this one versus basically the whole thing, you want to make sure that whatever color you have at the bottom matches your yarn. So you can clearly see my pink under here, which doesn't really go with the color scheme, but since it's just demonstration purposes, it's okay. But the back part is black, so you see how the black looks good, because with the holes you can see part of the cover. So if you do a small piece of crow hooking with lots of rows of trimming, then you have to be aware of what color book you have underneath. If you do pretty much the whole section crow hooked with very few edgings, it won't matter because it's all covered up. Then it looks like this on the inside, on both sides. So there you go. If you wanted to, you could do a little pocket on the front. You could sew a little pocket at the top where you could stick a pen or pencil inside. It's double-sided, so you could take it and flip it inside out. So you don't necessarily, if you're actually going to use double-sided, you don't necessarily want to put a big old embellishments on top because they will look funny when you turn it inside out. So you could add flowers. These are just flowers I had laying around. So you could add flowers, different types. Here's another flower tutorial I'm going to do. You could have buttons, you could have butterflies, you could add all kinds of things. If you're only going to do it on one side, here's the tutorial that I'm going to do with the bigger flower. It actually goes that way. And then, here's a chrysanthemum that I liked. I like that. So you can do all kinds of stuff with your embellishments. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave me comments below. If they're very specific or you need more instruction, just make sure you might want to private message me because for some reason I don't always get my things. But there you go. Happy crow hooking.